Hey, this is Caleb Bridges, and this is Leavetherest. So I'm going to say some words to you, and I want you to just think about what your first reaction is, okay? Stillness, silence, alone. What comes to your mind? I hope you're not saying depression, because I think that these things are really, really important. You know, one of the things that I think I was fortunate to develop or to really come to value, I should probably say, early on in my life was the importance of spending time alone. And I don't mean that in a depressive way. I mean that in the sense of just going somewhere, whether it's on walks. For me, a lot of the times it's walks at night. And that sounds shady, but I like to go for walks at night. And sometimes for 45 minutes or so, but it can be as little as 10 minutes. But there are opportunities for me to be alone, to be silent, to be away from people and things, to clear my head, and at least personally, probably most importantly, to spend time with God and just pray and really collect myself. And it's been one of the things that's really helped me grow, probably more than just about anything. And so today's topic is going to have to do with the importance of silence and being alone with God. I just think that this is such an important topic today. I want to start with a C.S. Lewis quote because, I love him. And the quote is this. It says, "We live, in fact, in a world that's starved for solitude, silence, and privacy, therefore starved for meditation and true friendship." And I think that's so true. And I think even more true now than maybe it even was when C.S. Lewis penned those words. Because our society today has found a way to make every part of our life social. Every part of our life is not private, it's public. We have found a way to occupy every second of every day. If we're not working, we're finding something else to work on. If I'm not actually doing work, then I'm finding something to watch. I'm on my phone when I'm in an elevator or sitting on a bench. Unfortunately, I'm on my phone when I'm walking around and I'm probably tripping on things. I find ways to express every part of my life, what I'm eating, when I use the bathroom, and any thought that even enters my head onto social media. I've found a way to connect and stay connected to the point that there is no opportunity many times for us to actually just be alone. Our society pulls at us in a million different directions. We work more hours than we ever have in history as far as the United States. What I think you see is you see our culture being saturated with a bombardment of just constant activity. One of the things that I even notice some people is they're so used to it that they go on vacation or something and they feel uncomfortable because they feel like they need to be doing something. It almost bothers them because they're so used to being busy that it's almost like something's wrong because I'm not doing something. I know talking to some people out there, you guys might be a social person, and so for you might say, well, I love the social atmosphere aspect of always being around people. I thrive on that. And what I would say to you is, hey, that's great, but I'd say it's also important for you to find time to be alone. Now, for other people, it's more of a situation where they feel like, I've even talked to people where they're like, well, even if I'm at home alone, I need the TV on. Or if I'm in the car, I have to have the radio on. I have to have something in the background. And, I think that's almost an unhealthy thing. And I know for some people, they'll say, well, it's just that I don't like feeling lonely. And so when I'm alone, this helps me not to feel alone. But I think what I would say to that person is that maybe it's even more important for you to cultivate a sense of stillness and solitude so that you can be with God, so you can begin to know Him. Because I think it's very difficult to really come to know God, to really develop a sense of a prayer life, or just really a sense of reflection if I'm always being bombarded by music and entertainment and media and work, and I'm just always going. Because I think that that's our society today. I think this is a really good quote that I like, and it's St. Augustine, and he says, "God is always trying to give us good things, but our hands are too full to receive them." And I think that quote really applies. That God wants to do stuff in us. He wants to show us Himself. He wants to reveal Himself to us, but I'm too distracted. I'm too full. I've got too much in me and going on for me to sense Him or see Him or even have the time to know Him. And so I have to set away I have to set apart time to spend time alone in silence with the Lord and with my thoughts and with reflection. You know, I think stillness does a couple things for us. And I think there's a few reasons why we need stillness. I think it allows us to collect ourselves. You know, one of the things that really helps me is, I'd say just about every day I make mistakes. I say things, I do things that I regret. And that stillness at the end of the day, it allows me to reflect on those things. Because it'd be easy for me to just not, just go watch a movie or do something else. And then I'm never really thinking about, wow, what did I do that I wish I hadn't done? So what am I going to do tomorrow? That stillness allows me time to reflect on the mistakes I've made, maybe the sins I've committed. It allows me time to think about what I want to change. Maybe really importantly, it allows me to think about what direction I'm going. Am I going where I want to go? Who am I becoming? Am I taking the steps that I need to take to get there? Quietness and stillness allows me to meditate on those things. I think it really allows me to learn more about who I am. It allows me to think about what I'm doing and makes me just a more informed person than if I'm never contemplating my actions or thoughts from the day. I think it allows us to realize our mistakes, like I said, correct our thoughts, prepare for upcoming struggles. I can take thought, I can think about, wow, this is coming up, I really need to get myself ready for this. I think it also allows us to spend time in prayer and reflection. Probably the most important thing for me is that element of prayer. And I know it's different for every person, but I think that silence is what you need. You need to be alone, you need to be still in order to really seek after the Lord. Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I'm God." And I think that's interesting because what it's telling us is that in order to know who God is, we have to be still. It says, "Be still and know that I am God." And then Psalm 62:5 says, "For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from Him." I think God wants to show Himself to us, but many times we're just too busy. We're just too full of other stuff. There's one last quote from Mother Teresa that I think is especially good. And she says, "We need to find God, and He cannot be found in noise and in restlessness. God is the friend of silence. See how nature, the trees, the flowers, grass, they grow in silence. See the stars, the moon, the sun, how they move in silence. We need silence to be able to touch souls." I think that's powerful. I think that tells us that if we want to impact the world and we want to have a change in our own life, we need to seek that opportunity to be silent. And so I'll end with this, and I would just encourage you and I challenge you to take it upon yourself to schedule a time if you have to set a time away in your day just as much as you would for working out or for anything else. Find a place, schedule a time. Even if you have to, set a timer. If you've only got 5 minutes or 10 minutes, well, do whatever you have to. But schedule a time, a regular time, daily if possible, to spend time in silence, alone, away. Now you might say, well, that's not possible for me. I have kids, or I have this, or I have that, and it's just, but I would say wake up early if you have to, go to bed late if you have to, but find 5, 10, 15, obviously the more time the better, but a little bit of time each day to just be away from people and things, to collect yourself and to pray. I think it will be something that really changes your life. And it may not be that it happens within a day or two, but if you stick to it, I promise you'll find yourself beginning to love it. So I hope this has been encouraging and informative for you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for another video.